There's a company that's cutting our fuel use by up to 5%. But it isn't a solar, wind, or hydro energy startup. It's an oil company, Schaeffer. Their oils are consistently proven to boost efficiency and reduce fuel consumption by up to 5%. When Schaeffer started making lubricants in 1839, they didn't set out to be green. But efficiency has always been part of everything they do. Reduce, rethink, rely on Schaeffer.
For generations, fans of IndyCar could only dream of stepping into the cockpit and feeling the rush of going wheel to wheel at over 200 miles per hour. Thanks to the latest in sim racing technology, we can get one step closer. Talented, fearless drivers battle it out in virtual race cars to claim supremacy at some of the world's most demanding tracks. This is the RIL, Schaeffer's IndyCar Series, presented by RaceBurst.
Hello and happy holidays, everyone. I am Gary Gotzo. Welcome to Race First coverage of Round 2 of the winter 2022-2023 season of the RIL Schaeffer's IndyCar Series. Coming to you tonight from the Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas. Joining me in the booth is Jalopnik.com's Ryan Eric King. So, Ryan, we are at our first road course of the season. It's one of the rare facilities of the world. It's actually hosted arguably the top 3 levels of motorsport. Certainly, I think we can agree F1 and IndyCar are the top 2. NASCAR Cup Series, yeah, maybe 3. I don't know about that. But considering its worldwide popularity, it is not a favorite. This track is not a favorite among the virtual racing crowd. What makes COTA stand out as a challenge to the online ranks?
Oh, man. It's hard to say that a venue that has hosted the United States Grand Prix for a decade isn't challenging. High-speed corners. You definitely have a couple tight, twisting technical sections. COTA has everything to offer from a modern 21st century racing facility.
Well, we just started qualifying. It's a 15-minute session. Got 12 minutes, 20 seconds, and we're going to have some bumping tonight. We have more than 33 cars here. I believe we have 35 or 36, so we're going to maybe send 3 or 4 cars home and driver combinations home a little unhappy. But tonight is going to be a night of survival. It's not just going to be because this track is hard, is because the incident limits are set to very low. 14 for your first black flag, 20 for DQ. If you think about it, if you get into an incident on the very first lap where you have contact with somebody, you've already reached 1/5 of your incident limit already by the first corner. People are going to have to watch themselves tonight.
Yeah, you're going to have to watch yourself tonight. Especially, you see it in Formula One, because that's pretty much how they police track limits in F1, where you go over, you get 2 warnings, and then you get an official warning, then a penalty. Here, you have a set number of 1X's to go off track. You go over that, you're gonna go down pit low, bro.
Right, and it is pretty indicative of how hard it is. We're now 4 minutes in the qualifying. It only takes it's roughly the lap time here is about a lap time at Road America. It's about 145, 146, and we're now just starting to get lap times in. So anytime you get an X, and we're watching all sorts of calamity on the final corner here. anytime you get an X, that nullifies your attempt for qualifying. Your time, it will not count toward qualifying. So these guys got to put it in for a clean lap, and with more than 33 cars on the grid tonight, or going to be on the grid tonight, you really can't afford, especially if you're not a really good road racer, you can't really afford just to kind of send it in there and put in a safe lap. You actually need to put some effort behind it.
And even if you are a good road racer, it is hard to find an empty piece of track to put in a good lap time with 33 cars trying to put in a time.
And you see the track map right there. You are not lying. There is hardly an open piece of real estate right now that you could put a car that's not going to have another car around it. Believe it or not, there's only been one IndyCar race ever here at COTA, and of course that's the famous race where they just said, track limits, screw them. So Will Power holds the track record with a 146.017 seconds of a lap there under qualifying, and Colton Herta is the career leader with one. Everybody says he's 1 for 1. He's perfect here. But those are the really IndyCar track records that you need to know about here at COTA. Penalties for tonight. Hayden Herman, if he qualifies, there he is on the screen. He will get an EOL. Dan Miglin, if he qualifies, he will get an EOL. And Nick Johnston, one of your championship contenders, the man, the defending, reigning, or I should say in better terms, the reigning and defending champion of the league, is going to have himself an EOL with an incident that he had under caution with Hayden Herman at Homestead, where he thought he was clear and kind of came down on him and caused contact. And the stewards say it was AC, avoidable contact, and he gets an EOL for tonight. 8 minutes, 50 seconds left here in qualifying. Caleb Bency, provisionally your pole sitter. Right now, we also got Gavin Sanders, P2, Bruno Miranda, the Storm, P3. Nick Johnson is P4, but he's going to have to start from the rear. Hunter Ingrave, P5. Connor Baldwin, P6. We have two of the Wisers in. We have two Wisers. We have Dale and Will in the lineup, and Will is currently provisionally 7th on the grid with he's just a second, 1.1 seconds behind the leader. Dakota DeMay with a pretty good lap, 1.3 behind the leader, currently provisionally 8th. Flaum provisionally 9th, and Zahler, one of the new rookies. Ooh, there's a contact there in the first turn. One of the new rookies here. He is currently, was provisionally 10th. Now he just got bumped down to 11th. As times continue to change, but only 15 cars of the 30 plus have put in an actual time.
And we're just about to reach halfway through this session. And it's so awkward, the choices being made on who's on the fast lap, who's not, who's moving over for who, trying to find ways to just stay flat out the entire way around the circuit.
Yeah, you want to stay flat. You also want to stay, you don't want to screw up someone else's lap, and that's what a lot of that is. I don't want to say screw up as in purposely, but just kind of be in the way. And there's a lot of that going on right now as you see all of these cars all over the place. In the corner of your screen, there is the circuit map, and all those little ping pong balls you see floating around with numbers on them. That is a car. And the current car in blue is the current car that we have the camera on at the moment. And there's literally cars all over the place here at this racetrack. So we're probably expecting a two-stopper tonight. They will have to change the tire compounds at one point. So these guys will make a decision whether or not they will start on the alternates are the primes. The alternates are the red sidewall tires that you currently see there on the side of Zach Flaum's car. And we're currently riding with Shane Coogan. He's on the red sidewall tires. Logan Spath on the red sidewall tires. Just about everybody on the red sidewall tires at the moment. But if there's any cars that are not, they're the black sidewall tires. Those are the harder compound. Those will last longer. And those are they're going to be doing the longer stints of. I'm hearing that the maximum is about 10 laps on the red sidewall tires right now. After that, you're giving a middle finger to fate at that point. And we know how fate doesn't like that.
And if the set of tires only lasts 10 laps in a 40-lap race, you're probably only going to want to use them once.
Right, exactly. So while we got some time here, 5 minutes, 34 seconds. According to YouTube Analytics, 37% of you are not subscribed, which actually is pretty good. I've watched a lot of YouTube streamers that have more than 50% of people that just kind of watch and just don't subscribe. Well, most of you have subscribed. We really do appreciate that. But if you haven't, and you're part of that 37%, let's change that right now. We have reached our goal of 1,000 subscribers, but we're not going to rest there. Help us keep this positive momentum. If you enjoy Race First coverage of the RIL Schaeffer's IndyCar series and respect the weekly stream that we do, please do us a solid and make sure you support us by subscribing. And while you're at it, don't forget to smash like and click the bell so don't miss out on future Race First iRacing broadcasts. Now, also a new addition into our broadcast. It is the holidays, is it not, Ryan? So, in the holidays, it's always better to give than receive, correct?
Yes.
Well, there you go. You see down in the chat, bottom of the chat area there is now a little icon with a $1 bill. You can now send us super chats and tips during the race. This is a season of giving, and you can hit that icon, and it'll tell you more about how to send super chats and tips our way. And we do appreciate those throughout the course of the race and season. These take time and money to produce, but any extra tips that we get is very nice of you, especially during, Justin Miller sending it right there, especially during this Christmas season. So just hit that $1 bill and it'll tell you how to send us a super chat, and we certainly would appreciate that. 3 minutes, 57 seconds left in provisional qualifying, and we got Caleb Bency on the pole still, the 147.3. Gavin Sanders right behind him, only a tenth behind him. Miranda about a half a second behind. Seifert now up there, about 6/10 behind. Johnston currently in fifth, but he is going to get bumped down to an EOL because of that incident that we were just talking about. That will move Ingrave, Baldwin, Weiser, Spath, and DeMade up a spot. Anything that's you're seeing out there that strikes you?
Not in particular. You always have to wait and see when it comes to an open session like this, because anyone at any moment could put in a time to launch themselves up the standings. Oh, yeah.
Currently on the bubble is Peter Donchek, right down there at the bottom. He is in the books with a 152.5. But he is on the bubble right now. Currently trying to better him is Caleb Morrissey, Corey Mott, Joseph DeCiro, and Hugo Gallas, which I'm kind of surprised Hugo Gallas is down there, hasn't turned a lap yet. He might be having a hard time just trying to find some clean racetrack. He is a noted road racer, and he should be able to put in a time, but we shall see. As we're now getting down to the bitter end here, qualifying, 2 minutes 30 seconds remaining. Watching Justin Miller here, currently provisionally 17th. There is Corey Mott trying to get into this race, currently timed in at 35th, the 155.3. Doesn't have a clear racetrack in front of him, running out of time. A lap around here is a long lap. It's, you see right at 147, 146. It's about the lap time you get at Road America. So you have to calculate your pit out time and then your actual time on the racetrack. So a lot of these guys now are on flyers, and this is going to be it.
Yeah, because you're not only racing the other drivers, but you're racing the clock. 15 minutes might seem like a lot of time, but it's every second that goes by is a second you can't get back.
There is Connor Baldwin in the Texas A&M liveried car. It's a home game for Connor. He is a resident of Texas. Currently provisionally ninth, doing a real good job. He's picked up his road racing skills a lot here in the recent, been racing over in the ESRA series. Of course, he won at Rockingham last year for our first race there.
Yeah.
I raced a truck Craftsman, or is it? I guess it is a Craftsman Truck Series race now. Is it?
It's back.
It's back. Yeah, the Craftsman of all tools, Craftsman tools. Yes, I raced a Truck Series there in another league, the VRL, and it was basically a race of eye pacing, and made our IndyCar race look pretty good there.
See, time's about to expire. Is anyone about to start a lap?
And watching Caleb Morrissey, he's trying to get in here, and I don't think he's going to be able to finish his lap before getting to the end here. There's Christopher Reese, currently 20th. He is solidly in the field. Any flyers watching here? Still on the bubble, Peter Donchek. If he gets bumped, next will be Tommy Cook. And then right after him, if there's a bump of him here in the next minute or so, puts Drew White on the bubble. Drew is going to be actually in chat penalty tonight for voicing displeasure on an incident last week. It happens. It happens. And I think that's it for Caleb Morrissey. I don't think he's going to be able to get in there. No, he's not. And he is going to be first car out. I don't see any of the others that are Corey Mott, currently not on track, so he is done. Joseph DeCiro doesn't look like he put in a time. Neither does Hugo Gallas for some reason. So we're really at the minute left, and the field is kind of locked in. I think Peter Donchek is going to survive being on the bubble here. Craig Forsyth right there, moving himself to 20th.
At the buzzer.
Nate Schaeffer. There, Nate Schaeffer going to the top. The 1:47.1. And that's considerably faster than Bincy's lap by 2/10. Hunter Ingrave not doing too bad himself. He almost just as fast as Bincy there. 0.061 of a difference there from Bincy. Here, we'll show everyone's times here. Best time. There we go. 1:47.1, 1:47.3, 1:47.4. Got not 7 cars in that 1:47 bracket. And Lusher's going to put a donut in because he has qualified. And with that, we should probably see today's starting lineup. Here we go. Nate Schaeffer is your pole sitter with a 1:47.1. Right next to him, Caleb Bincy. And then number 21, Hunter Ingrave in the 27, starting 3rd. Gavin Sanders in his familiar number 10, starting 4th. Dakota the Maid starting 5th. Nicholas Johnston is gridded 6th, so that means he's going to have at least a 6th pit stall, but he is starting from pit road, or at least he has an EOL. He can do either one. Bruno Miranda the Storm in 7th. JJ Wang with a great lap in 8th. Connor Baldwin 9th. Will Weiser 10th. Logan Spath 11th. Nicholas Isidro, another good start for Nick Isidro. He is up in 12th. So normally, like we said, watch him because normally he is from the mid-pack, always storming from. He is up at the front again this time. We'll see if he can possibly get up there and start challenging for that podium position. Zachary Flaum 13th, Matt Johnston 14th, Matt Houston, the boss man, 15th, Andrew Zauer, a newcomer to the series, 16th, Justin Miller, the oval specialist, doing in a good lap here for 17th, and Matt Cosgrove is 18th. Christian Jasper 19th, Craig Forsyth 20th, Shane Coogan, the Oval Master. He's showing his going to show some prowess that he's learned for the road course. Although he does have one road course win here in the RIL at Detroit. He is starting 21st. Christopher Reese 22nd, Dan Miglin 23rd, and Frankie Franchica 24th. Ben Carswell 25th, James Watson, and that Watson Racing crew at 26th. Hayden Herman, the unknown driver, there at 27th. Victor Aldrich 28th. Dale Weiser 29th. Neil Lusher, you saw him happy making a 30th. Drew White 31st. Tommy Cook, our counterparts over there at the Turn 200 crew, at 32nd. And Peter Donchek will be 33rd. And remember, the penalties, as we got a little time before we hit the main straight here. Hayden Herman, Dan Miglin, Nick Johnson, all EOLs.
Yep, as the field makes their way around the final sector, I think we should note they're going to need to be really careful. Rolling start in the turn 1 here at Circuit of the Americas, it is not easy.
Uphill, kind of a blind turn. It's not a very long front straight here. And then they get into this whole series of S's. And they're just unremarkable corners. There's not much there in the terms of landmarks that you can use for braking points or where to turn in. It's pretty much, you've got to memorize the course. And, you got cars to your inside, cars to your outside. That's a momentary lapse that might cause you some contact. So we shall see as we are now coming to the start here. As we get the cameras on the front. Coming off the final corner. This is corner number 20. As a drastic uphill from this shot right here. And we are green. Schaeffer takes the field underway. Schaeffer, your leader. Schaeffer, Benzie, Ingrave, and Sanders up the hill. Here we go.
Hope they fan out.
Oh, we are in contact in the back already. 2 contacts, 3 contacts. Frankie Franchica is one of them. Ben Carswell, I believe, was one of them. Back up front, here's Nate Seifert bringing the field through the S's. Got Caleb Benzie right there. Caleb patiently stalking here. This is the longest, actually the third longest straight here. Here's the longest straight where you will see the push the pass being used. And Caleb Benzie is in a position, but Nate's not going to let him do anything. Nate's on push to pass. He's going to pull Caleb right along as we are racing down to turn 12. Caleb to the inside. Going to take the outside now, going into 12. Hunter Ingrave gets the position over Gavin Sanders. They're racing side by side. They're racing side by side right behind them. It's JJ Wang, who is off into the grass there. JJ Wang, Hunter, and that's Bruno Miranda. Oh, JJ Wang again.
Oh no.
Oh, and he might have got his boss man. Watson. Gavin Sanders back up front. As Benzie gets around Seifert, Sanders now trying to get around Seifert as well, as Benzie is now getting down to turn 20 and is now starting to run away a little bit. Top 4, Benzie, Seifert, Sanders, Ingrave.
It's going to be a whole lot easier through turn 1 this time.
Yeah, single file. Dakota DeMay there up in 5th, now being challenged by Connor Baldwin. Connor Baldwin now gets the position. Move the Texan up to P5. Nick Isidro, I told you everyone to watch him. He is now moved up to 7th. Matt Johnston in the 404, he is up to 7th as well as he's fighting with Isidro. As Johnston there is in that Expel Penske livery. Just about everybody single file. Here's a battle that's brewing between Nick Johnston and Matt Cosgrove. Johnston wasting little time, already up to 15th. How about that? I'm sure all those incidents at the top of the hill were helping him out quite a bit.
Yeah, looking back at that start there, it looked like Franchica, he just misjudged how early the field ahead of him was going to break and just rear-ended a car and just chain reaction of cars flying up the hill into the field, making the corner.
Yeah, that's just, you're that far back, the accordion effect becomes amplified. Now we have a battle between Jasper and Spath right in front of Coogan and Johnston. Side by side, these two travel through the carousel. Spath backs off a little bit. Johnston, or excuse me.
Oh no!
Isidro, who went off? Dakota the Maid. Dakota the Maid at turn 20 goes long, and now he falls
like
back.
He was rear-ended by Matt Johnson.
Oh, okay, so he might have had a little help. Here's Matt Cosgrove, also in one of those Penske liveries. Right behind Dakota is Craig Forsyth. He's up a couple spots. Drew White, give Drew White a shout out. Very early in this event, he is up 13 spots. And he is not known for being a road racer, but he has given it a good shot today. So expect, after 3 laps, expect the window for pit stops to open about, I'm going to say 13, 14, 15, right in there. Maybe as late as 16 the window will close. But 13, 14, 15, right in there, you'll start seeing the first of the pit stops. So we're about starting to get to 10 laps to go for those. So you never get really too far here at COTA or Road America for that matter, because very similar courses in terms of time and length to get around them. You always got to think about the next pit stop, which is always almost directly upon you at those road courses.
Yeah, and it seems like the early stoppers, we should expect Matt Johnston and I believe Christian Jasper. They're on the reds at the moment.
Go back to Matt Johnston in 8th in a battle with Justin Miller. Now we have a 3-car battle because Christian Jasper is involved in this one, and Johnston's coming to pit road. This is early.
Yeah, it seemed like his reds had fallen off a cliff.
So we're watching Matt Johnston give up his spot there in the top 10 to come down pit road. He's going up on the jacks. And Johnson is going to stay. Getting a full tank in the box for 13.6. He might have had some damage they were getting looked at. He has switched to the prime tire and has now got himself a ways to go behind everyone else on this grid. 33 cars currently, as we get a shot here from the Race First 1 airship. TC, its pilot, as we watch the battle between Bency and Schaeffer high above here in the Austin, Texas airspace. As we watch these guys go through one of the tighter, not quite the S portions, but they got the carousel coming up right here. Every road course needs to have a carousel. Give you an idea of kind of how, from the air, it looks a very colorful course. But from the ground, it is very unremarkable. We will we'll ride along with one of these guys In fact, let's do that right now. Let's ride along with my man Gavin Sanders, and we'll just show you how really unremarkable this is for your braking points. Now, this is coming uphill into 1. This one's kind of easier to judge. Car gets light, though, at the top of the hill. Then when it crests the hill, the car also gets light there. Now you come into these S's, and you just kind of gotta know the course.
Yeah, they're like you said at the start. There are no landmarks or reference points. It's just an open field of tarmac.
It looked like a pretty clean lap for Gavin so far. We are watching the incident and penalty situation. You have a better view of that. How are we looking on penalties or incidents so far? Do we have anyone getting near that 20 mark already?
Not that I can tell, because on the display on the UI, it shows everyone with no incidents. When
Okay, well, we know that's not right.
True.
We know that's not right. So, yeah, we're going to have to pay attention. Remember, we have had a race in RIL history, which was impacted. We had a season that was impacted in RIL history. Where a incident violation actually was basically the margin of victory in the final point standings. If you remember, Nate Schaeffer got a penalty there late in a race at the Red Bull Ring, and it cost him just enough points where he lost out in that pit championship race there to Caleb Bency that season.
Yeah, shades of MotoGP, where someone got a race win stripped at the Austrian Grand Prix because they ran wide on the final corner.
And exactly right there. It was on the final corner, yeah. And it cost him, I think it was going to be a top 5, and it ended up, he got pushed down like 2 or 3 other spots, put the first car on the lead lap, first car a lap down, actually, which still gave him a top 10, but it still cost him a couple spots, and I think that's ultimately what cost him in the championship that season. So you've got to be careful. Oh, Nate hitting the curb there in 9, coming to 11. And that opens the door up for Gavin to get a little bit of a run on him. We'll see what Gavin can do down the long stretch here. And Gavin just kind of holds. Might be just doing a bit of fuel saving here on the at the result of or at the expense of Schaeffer. Let's take a look and see if we got any other good battles brewing on the race course. Let's go back to P8, where we have Nick Isidro and Nick Johnston. Nick Johnston now up to 7th. And I believe Johnson has just recently got around him there. So move Nick Johnston up to 7th after starting EOL on the field. Hayden Herman, one of those other ones as well. He is 23rd currently. We get the here's a pretty tight battle from 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th. Hayden Herman goes wide. Whoa. Inside, Victor Aldrich taking a look. Hayden goes wide, letting Aldrich through, but he's going to get a good run off the corner down into 2. 3 and 4 gets the position back. And then right behind Aldrich is the race first boss man of Matt Houston. Zach Flaum with the race first on the rear wing. Been cooperating with the team there on an associate basis. Race versus ranks continue to grow. Back up, here's a battle between two longtime veterans. Dakota DeMay, Craig Forsyth. As they come into 12 there under Hart, breaking off the long straight, still side by side. Dakota holds on to the position. Craig still attacking here.
Yeah, they're closing on this train of 4 cars ahead of them.
Both these are multi-time RIL, or at least one-time RIL winners. Craig won at Michigan a couple seasons ago. Of course, we know Dakota, former series champion. And let's go back up front. And while we're waiting for things to develop here, as we now are getting really close to pit stop time, let's take a look at how things shook out last week. Of course, there's still only a second race of the season, so the points championship, points to standings really are not super important, but here are the results from last week. Gavin Sanders, your winner. Nate Seifert on the podium. Shane Coogan in third. Craig Forsyth with that unbelievable comeback from being disconnected to finish fourth. And Caleb Bency there finishing fifth. Of course, Caleb probably, arguably, was the best car all night. He just got caught up in a yellow flag that cost him a little pit strategy. So with that, of course, here are the points. The points should reflect how that race finished. Gavin Sanders, your leader. Nate Seifert second. Shane Coogan third. Caleb Bency fourth. Forsyth fifth. Ingrave, DeMade, Houston, Miller, Watson is your top 10. Still early days here in the RIL. No reason to panic if you don't see your name in the top 20. A lot of racing still to go. Next week, we are at the Oval on Twin Wing Motegi. As Bency has moved out to about a 1.5 lead over Seifert and Sanders. They got about a 4-second lead over Hunter Ingrave in fourth. Come back and take a look at Hunter there in the at Target Chip Ganassi, one of the liveries he's used in the past, the CVS Target livery. He's got to buy himself. He's in a good spot. No one really to challenge him. Basically, he's in a position where he's really racing the racetrack right now, isn't he?
Yeah, pretty much. You know, if he feels like he's putting in good time, stay out as long as you can, preserve those tires.
Making safe turns here. Not to get too, I think a lot of the out of bounds are going to come when we get 4 tires over the rumble strips. If you get 4 tires over, that's going to be an X, but 2 tires is not going to be enough to cause the incident monster to issue you a incident here.
Yes.
There you see in the far background there, we'll get the camera on him. There is Connor Baldwin. And his home, this is a home game for him. He's at Texas A&M. Now we're going to see the battle between, here's Johnson and Weiser. Johnson gets around Weiser, and Johnston is now up into the top 6. And
33rd to 6.
33rd to 6, yes. Now, if he would have just started the race normally, he would have broken even. He started 6th. He's going to work his way up to 6th. So there's Will Weiser. He's in that AlphaTauri livery. We got to get him an IndyCar livery. A little bit further back in P8, here's a battle between Isidro and Christian Jasper. Isidro in his normal Texaco Havoline Michael Andretti black livery. I think he started using about 96. Again, I make mention that livery never made any laps in Indianapolis. If it did, it was during private testing, not during any official practice or anything like that. Right behind him, Christian Jasper. He's kind of in a modified Target Chip Ganassi livery with his self-sponsor there on the side. Driving for, I think, Destino Motorsports there. He's got Destino on the rear wing.
Yeah. And come on, iRacing, get some vintage 90 Indy cars on iRacing.
I very much like the 90s, the 95 car set that's out there. That's very nice. Let's take a look at the bottom portion of the top 10. There's Andrew Zoller as we were watching him come into view. And another of the Target Chip Ganassi type liveries. And to go back even further, here's Shane Coogan leading the whole train of cars. Shane Coogan in a very early Target Chip Ganassi livery. This is like 94, 95, of right after he got the team from Pat Patrick. It's what kind of when he first got the team, it was Vassar and Herta when he was his driver combination there, or at least for that year. I think when he first got the team, it was Cheever that was actually racing for him, Eddie Cheever, who didn't do too bad. I think he put the car in the front row at Indy, or at least in the first 2 rows at Indy. Oh, there's an X right there. Got all 4 wheels off. I'm sure Shane doesn't care. He's holding on to position. Right now behind him is Justin Miller. So you got 2 really good oval aces duking it out here on the road course. We got a car on pit road. There's Nick Isidro. He says, I've had enough of these tires. Get me on the pit road. It's still a little early, but he might be able to make it work. Also on pit road, James Watson. You can never mistake James Watson. He is always in those bright colored cars. Another car on pit road. I believe that is Ben Carswell. Yeah, Ben Carswell also on pit road. Of course, he was involved in that first lap incident. He might be making a stop to get some work done, as well as take fuel, get new tires. Back up front, your leader now by 2 seconds, Caleb Bency. Yes, and the graphics do remind us, if you're just joining us, this is race first coverage of the RIL Schaeffer IndyCar Series coming to you from Circuit of the Americas, where we completed 12 of 40 scheduled laps. If you're enjoying race first broadcast tonight, make sure you support the channel by liking our broadcast with the thumbs up, or share it with a friend, or hey, subscribe to the channel. While you do that, click the bell so you're notified about future RIL events. Plus, since it's the holidays, you can now gift your commentary team super chat tips. Just click on the dollar bill sign below, chat, and learn how to donate to the broadcast. And let's go back to this battle for 5th, because it is quickly going to become a thing right here. Nick Johnston moving his way up into the verge of the top 5. Going to send it on the inside of... Oh! There might have been some contact there. Very slight, if anything, but he wanted to send it in there on Connor Baldwin. Connor was giving him room, but Nick would have slid up into Connor if he set that any faster. Side by side. And I think Connor just going to say, you know, I'm going to no, he's going to take the faster route on the inside. He's going to hold the position. And now, as we go into 13, 14, and now 15, Johnson gets the position. So move Nick Johnston up into the top 5. Nate Siefker, Gavin Sanders contact.
Oh.
They were sitting there in turn 19. Sanders now gets around him. I don't know how serious contact that was. If it was very close. But move now Sanders up to P2 and put the 2 Race First affiliated cars 1 and 2. And Team Watson now in P3. with their number 1 driver, Team Watson, is currently in 5th, and he is storming. He will be quickly joining this battle, probably by the end of the second stint.
Oh, of all the races this season, this is not the place you want to be gambling with incident points.
No, you don't want to. The pit window is really open for a lot of folks, so we're going to keep our eye on pit road. We're going to keep an eye also on our leader, as Bensie's now 4 seconds ahead. I mean, he might as well be 500 miles ahead at this point. That's one of the biggest leads we've seen in a long time. And we got Dean there in chat saying, yep, Eddie used to do F1, yep. Yeah, before he made his IndyCar debut, he did F1. Of course, he started the IndyCar with Chip Ganassi, and he's driven for a number of owners. AJ Foyt, one of them. He drove for Team Menard and one of the Indy 500s. I believe that was the '95 race. And also, primarily toward the the end of his IRL career, he was his own team owner. He was an owner driver when he won the 500 in '98.
Yeah, Team Schaeffer.
Yep. Of course, he helped put Rachel's potato chips out of business. They're like, oh, we got quite a bargain to put our name on the side of a race car. That said race car wins the Indy 500, and then everyone wanted to try Rachel's potato chips, and they couldn't meet demand. And it kind of inadvertently put them out of business. I think I've been at 2 of Eddie's wins. I was at his '98 win, and I think he won a range shortened in '97, a range shortened Disney Indy 200.
Yes, he did.
And I was at that one as well. Oh yeah, I was soaked. Everybody was soaking wet at that. There was no place to hide there to get wet, get dry. Once the rain came to that place, it was you were done. Let's go back a little bit more and find some other battles. Here's a battle brewing in the back half of the top 10. Justin Miller, Coogan, they've been like this all race long. Logan Spath is there, Craig Forsyth. Spath going to take a look to the inside. Nope, he tucks it back in. As the drivers all go through 11 down the long straight, see if anybody smacks the button. See if they try to race the other into 12. Justin might. Justin's going to come to the inside. Going to try to send it in there. Nope. He actually breaks a little early. He breaks early. Causing Coogan to break a little early. He almost pulled alongside Coogan. Gets the pass with the strategy. Not quite. Here comes Logan Spath. He sees an opportunity. Now this whole group is now starting to be joined by Dakota the Maid. And Matt Cosgrove is at the tail end of that. There he is in that Gallagher car. Frankie Francica, who survived that first turn incident, is up into the battle here at 15th. We have a retirement. J.J. Wang is out. There goes Craig Forsyth down pit road. So J.J. Wang is out. Christopher Reese, he is still turning laps, but he is 4 laps down. He was involved in that first lap incident. Nicholas Isidro, something happened to him. He is out. So remember, Nick Isidro was up into the top 10 for a good portion of the start here. He is currently out. So the other car that's the last car running is Peter Donchek. He is in 30th position, 4 laps down. Last car in the lead lap is Hayden Herman. Hayden Herman is currently shown in 29th.
And Caleb Bensie is hitting the last car in the field. He's about to lap 32nd before his first pit stop.
Yeah, he is cruising right along here. And yeah, there he goes. Reese lets him on by very nicely. Reese will try to stay out of the way of the other guys right behind him. He's got a little bit of a window because he's now a 5-second lead for Bensie over everybody. Let's see if Bincy decides to pit here. Nope. Going to bypass pit road. Going to go another lap. So he's probably coming in next time.
But Nate's in.
Yeah, Nate's coming in. As well as Hunter Ingrave. And Nick Johnston. And a whole bunch of people are coming in. Will Weiser decides that he wants to Tokyo drift it around that pit-in entrance. And Connor Baldwin's trying to capitalize. Got on the button a little bit later and tries to get around him, but not going to be able to do so. But does close the distance.
Yeah.
So Andrew Zauer now also hitting pit road. Shane Coogan going to go out for another lap. So I think the race first guys are going to try to stay out an extra lap here over everyone else. Justin Miller on pit road. Dakota DeMaid, I misspoke. He is coming in early for Team Race First. Maybe they're splitting the strategies. Matt Cosgrove on pit road. So it is, the window is open here for the first stop.
Yeah, I think it might have been worth pitting early because while staying out might work for tire strategy better, you'd have to deal with the lap traffic, which will slow you down.
Caleb Bincy getting around Neil Lusher. Neil Lusher in 28th. He also got around Hayden Herman, the unknown driver there, in 29th. That's kind of a team car. I'm sure they made that pass as painless as possible. So now he is looking at next up is Dale Weiser, but I don't think he's going to get there before he decides he's going to pit. And there he is. Coming to pit road. Also in front of him, I believe that's a 24 of Dale Weiser on pit road. He might pop out in front. That is a danger that he's going to have here. Gavin Sanders on pit road. So you see Reese and Weiser now underway. Caleb on the jacks, down off the jacks. He is now on to the prime tire. So I imagine he's going to save the alternate tire for the last stint. So 16 and 16. If he does another identical stint, that should get him to 36, right? Or yeah, Gary can't add. 32, and then that leaves only a 8-lap stint on reds and light tanks to get to 40. So that looks like that's the strategy that at least a bulk of the race first team is going to go for. 16, 16, and 8.
Should work out nicely.
And my understanding is you don't want to be on those reds any more than 10. So they start to lose effectiveness, certainly after about 9 or 10. So watching the leader Caleb Bincy come up to Will Weiser to the inside, going into 12th, getting the pass pulled off very cleanly, very easily. Nate Seifert on push to pass, trying to make up the difference. Seifert did dig into the lead there of Bincy. He was about 5 seconds. He also jumped Gavin Sanders. So it's now he cut the lead in half and picked up a position.
Yeah, because he didn't have to try to fight worn tires to get past lap traffic. The overcut somewhat worked.
And once again, if you're just joining us, you're watching Race First coverage of round 2 of the RIL's Schaeffer IndyCar Series, coming to you from the Circuit of the Americas. Where Caleb Bincy, Bincy. You know, his name is butchered so many times. It's about as butchered as much as mine. And every time on Lionheart they call him Binchy. No, Bincy. I know I should say his name and my properly, and you just get talking so fast. Sometimes it doesn't come out right. So Caleb Bincy is your leader with 18 of 40 in the books. Thanks for joining us. Make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on the next RIL race. Also, don't forget, your commentary team this holiday season, you can now send us super chats. Just click on the dollar bill icon in the chat below to learn more. And now is probably a good time that we get a word in and a little side-by-side with Schaeffer Oil. See what Schaeffer has about heroes, shall we? We'll be right back.
There's two types of drivers out there. Drivers who know how to protect their investment and drivers who don't. Car owners who know how to get more miles per gallon and owners who don't. We're talking people who know their Schaeffer and people who don't. Which one are you? From cars to trucks to diesel workhorses, whatever you drive, there's a Schaeffer synthetic oil for you. Do you know your Schaeffer? Ask for it at an automotive retailer near you.
Yeah, we got a new Schaeffer's ad that I got to queue up here. It's for they call it the Schaeffer Heroes one, and we'll get that. We'll get them to show that one here in a little bit. But we're back to the action. Want to thank Schaeffer's for being the sponsor here of the Revolution Indy League's IndyCar Series. We want to thank them again for the support. Racing is in their blood. It's what they love. At Schaeffer, their racing products help racing teams spend less resources on replacing parts. And I took my car to the shop today, and I'll talk about that. That gets expensive. And changing fluids and more time out on the racetrack where they're actually earning money. Designed for extreme performance, Schaeffer Racing Lubricants reduce friction, wear, and heat. Season after season, racers depend on Schaeffer's racing products to keep their cars always ready for the next race. Check out SchaefferOil.com, where you can search for the nearest retailer in your area or click on the link in the broadcast description below. That's Schaeffer's Oil. And wow, we are now watching a battle developing for the lead as Schaeffer is eaten into that lead by Caleb Bensi and is now all over him. And it makes me wonder, did possibly Schaeffer have some damage somehow and it got taken care of in the pit stop? But he wasn't on pit road long enough, so I'm wondering why. Well, never mind. I just have to look, and sometimes we don't see it graphically because there's a bug in iRacing. You see Schaeffer on your screen right there. He's got the black. Sounds like the bat phone's ringing for you. No, it sounds like he's got the black sidewall tires graphically, but this is a known bug they still have not fixed in iRacing. He is actually on the alternate tires according to timing and scoring. So that is why he has just killed this gap that Bensi built up, not only from a fast stop, but just being faster on the racetrack. Last time by, Bensi 149 flat, Schaeffer a 148.1. So he's on those red tires, and he is so much faster right now. But how soon can he get around Caleb with those tires before the point of diminishing returns?
Yeah, this is pretty much a Hail Mary play. If he wants the lead, he's gonna need to do it now before the tires fall off.
We got Mike Bensi in chat saying, thank you for pronouncing it right. As someone has their name butchered all the time, I feel your pain, Mike. Feel your pain. And here's Nate Seifert taking a look in the 20 here. Actually, that's 12, sorry. Was one of the few Formula One tracks out there they don't have terms named after, drivers that no longer drive anymore and stuff like that. And there is Reese giving way to the two leaders battling right now. Gavin Sanders is a mile behind him, 6 seconds behind this battle. So he's watching this from afar. Actually, he's not even watching. I don't think he can see much of it until he comes around the final turn here, as they're at the top of the hill.
Probably
Here comes Nate to the inside. He locks him up, sends him. Now there's going to be side by side coming off the corner down the hill into two, and see Caleb gets it back.
Yeah, that's the thing with turn one. You go off the inside, there's so much room that the person on the outside could just cut right back in and still maintain a lot of speed.
Kind of reminds me of turn 1 of the old Burke Lakefront Airport course.
Yeah, that's
very wide. You can get a whole bunch of cars wide, and a whole bunch can enter that corner. But really, there's one superior line through there. Let's go back in the field, and we have another couple. That whole battle right down around 10th is there. We go. Check this train out right here, led by Dakota the Maid. 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th. Bruno Miranda there. He's going to get a position here probably at the top of the hill. Frankie Francica is involved. Here's Miranda, the Storm, in Tornado Country, getting the position on Coogan. Move Miranda up to 12th. He got into contact on that first lap there with J.J. Wang, and he is now recovering. And unfortunately, to the Miranda fan club, and I see you guys in chat, that is par for the course for Bruno. Bruno tends to get into trouble to no fault of his own in many cases very early in races, and then he spends the whole remaining portion of the race digging himself out of it. He might be, very well could have been, the series champion last year if he had less of those situations. So Bruno Miranda driving for that Yukos Hollinger Esports racing team. He is on a similar march to Nick Johnston. Now Nick Johnston is now back to 5th. Or he's currently still in 5th, and he is now challenging Hunter Ingrave. Hunter Ingrave is trying to get around Hayden Herman. He's got around Hayden Herman now. They're at the top of the hill. And now we have a battle brewing for 4th. And Bruno Miranda, Justin Miller are swapping positions right now, watching on timing the scoring. Try to get to that battle here momentarily, but watching this battle for the top 5. Hunter Ingrave, who's been there all day long. Nick Johnson is making a drive up to the top 5 all day long. So much deeper into the corner there, and the turn 11 is under braking that Johnson is allowed to get there. Johnson, last minute, pulls out around Reese there, trying to get the draft. Now he's really in the draft. Ingrave with a little bit of the Pruitt fade.
Not close enough.
Not close
just
enough.
Gotta let Hunter know that he's there.
Pruitt fade is just another way of kind of throwing a legal block. Oh, into the inside. And almost called. Well, there's an X for getting off course there, but Hunter Ingrave not going to have to slow down to give up time. There might have been contact there with Johnson. Johnson now trying to recover as they are going through the carousel in the 19, coming down to 20. 23 of 40 in the books. We're past halfway. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. Happy holidays. People down south here in the States having severe storms today. People up in the north having snow. If you're in Indiana, it's just another day 15 of gray, I think it is. So yeah, took the car to the shop today, and it was like $4,000. As I was telling Matt Houston, it's like if I was an IndyCar and I pitted, it would have been like $4,000 worth of required repairs and another $5,000 worth of optionals. And I'm like, it's probably time to buy a new car. So we're going to be in the market here for a new car, unfortunately, but.
Well, we have this running post series on jalopnik.com called What Should I Buy? Where readers send in what they're looking for in a car, and then us in the writer's room come up with our suggestions.
And Johnson with the position as they fight through the end of 12 in the 13-14. Hunter Ingrave's not letting them get away. They're side by side now coming into 19 and 20. Or excuse me, 16 to 17. Now they're coming up into the carousel area.
Yeah, that should end this fight. But
Yep.
Hunter
falls back. He might try to send it into here again deep in the 19. Got a little room maybe in the 20, but Johnson has the position. Johnson now up into the top 4, but Johnson is still 9 seconds. Johnson trying to break the draft. And we are in snake country. This is Texas. And his snake is forming on the front straight, trying to break the draft. Move Johnson up to 4th, but he has himself a heck of a drive now to get up to Sanders. He is 9 seconds behind Sanders.
So I could never imagine gaining 30 places in a race.
I've almost done it. I did 29. I started my my very first fixed Indy 500. I didn't know anybody in the lineup, and I started from the pits. And I finished 4th, so I made up 29 spots. So now we're at lap 24:40, and now the second window is starting to open up here to get to the end. As we saw some cars pit as early as, saw some cars pit within like the first 5 laps or so, and that's still a little early. That's going to cause them another stop at least to the end, unless they can do a number of laps on engine map 8, but Johnson sliding those prime tires. He is currently 8 laps into his current stint, so he is probably halfway through. First car that we're probably going to start see pitting here, probably Watson, Jasper, Carswell, those guys. They're about 11 to 13 laps into their current stint, so they are fastly approaching their next stop, and hopefully that will get them to the end. See Christopher Reese coming off pit road. I feel your pain, buddy. Currently back in 29th, although he is a lap away from passing Tommy Cook, who's now retired in 28th. And then Peter Donchek still turning laps, and actually Donchek, there he is in the Valvoline car. He's going to move up a position here momentarily because Matt Johnston in the 404 currently showing out of the race, so he will move up to 26th. Christopher Reese here momentarily will move up to 27th. They'll make up a couple spots just by surviving. Cars on pit road. I believe that's James Watson. There it is. James Watson bringing his Team Watson Racing colored livery on the pit road. So he went 13 and 14, I think. And Caleb Bency now 1.2 ahead of Seifert. So the point of diminishing return on those alternate tires has been met and passed. As Seifert is no longer able to hold the same pace. Last time by, Bency a 149.2. But Seifert's, still faster at a 149 flat. That time by Bency a 149 flat, Seifer a 149.3. So he is now starting to pull away by 1.2 seconds. He's got, who's in front of him right there? That would be Victor Aldrich. That is the last car on the lead lap right there in the Destino Motorsports entry, and he pulls it off into the rest area and lets him on by. That's how you do it. Very nicely. Very nicely. So next up on the last car to lead lap, 20th, is Zachary Flown there in that pink Race First sponsored car. Or at least Race First badge car there on the wing. Here's Caleb.
Okay, so I just popped out to axe race control if anyone was close to a penalty on incident points. Nate Seifert. It's on 13.
Oh, wow. All right, so this is a developing story right now. It is developed instantly. It's it's like a Kodak picture or a Polaroid picture. It's instant. He is on 13, so if he gets another one, that is a drive-through penalty.
So, yeah, Nate and Matt Johnston, they're both on 13 at the moment.
Matt Johnston is retired, so he is okay. And here comes Seifert. Could be a scheduled stop.
Okay, Nick is on 12.
Nick Johnston is on 12. Okay.
Yes.
So he is 2 away from having to take a mandatory trip down pit road, and it is a drive-through penalty. We were debating this before. I thought you could stop. And really, I don't understand why you can't stop on a drive-through penalty, because you're just penalizing yourself more if you wanted to go ahead and do a pit stop anyways. But I guess you cannot make a pit stop. It is a drive-through penalty without making a pit stop. If he does that, he will have to make an extra trip down pit road. One more than he definitely wants for sure. And I think after that, then, after you do your drive-through at 14, the next penalty is a DQ at 20. So we still have we're just 13 laps to go, so there's still plenty of time for a lot of this to develop.
Okay, so yeah, I just got DM'd the situation as of lap 25. So Benzie only has 3, so he's safe. Yeah, Benzie is 3. Gavin Sanders is 8. Hunter Engrave has 11. And that's the top 5.
Seifert has hit pit road for the final time. He is on push to pass right now as he's trying to make this outlap as fast as possible. He is on the prime tire now, so he has chosen the prime tire to finish this race on. He's going to go the long stint here with this tire. So nearly a full tank and the harder tire. Let's see if we got some other battles. We got some big battles still brewing right around P12. Justin Miller, Shane Coogan, those guys. There we go. These guys have been with each other like almost all race long. Like, it's almost like they got a race buddy. Like, well, you watch my back, I'll watch yours type of thing. Getting a good look there at the pink car. Oh! No! Sanders going into, let's see, that's 12, giving the position to for Justin Miller. Frankie Francesca picked up the position. Matt Cosgrove the position. Coogan getting back underway, but drops to 14th. So Coogan now 10 laps on the prime tire, and maybe just had his brake bias set a little wrong for this late in the run.
Yeah, one mistake is all it takes to lose a handful of positions.
And those are incident points being tallied. So if he was close, he just got a couple more for losing control.
He was on 8, so what, he get 2x for loss of control?
Yep. Frankie Francesca getting a run at Miller going up the hill into 1. And Cosgrove just kind of staying put, sticking there. Easiest pass is when the person in front of you makes a mistake.
Yep.
This is about the closest battle on the racetrack at the moment. We'll bring up the ticker here for you. Logan Spath in a battle here with his Race First Associated teammate there, Dakota DeMade. Dakota will not make this easy on him. Friend or foe, nobody passes Dakota DeMade. That's how that works. But Dakota in the blue missile. I like the new blue car. Ooh. Logan getting a little squirrely on corner exit there. So he worked their way through 13, 14, 15. Now coming into 16, 17 into the carousel, because every road course needs to have one.
Yes.
Zoller on pit road. Andrew Zoller worked his way up into the top 10. Or he's actually been in the top 10 all day long, so it's good on him. In his RIL debut, he's going to come out right in front of this battle with Franchica, Miller, Cosgrove. Now, all those guys are going to have to stop, so they're not going to be on him very long. I don't know how hard he wants to fight those guys, because he'll end up getting the positions back when they pit. 29 of 40 in the books. Thanks for joining us. Make sure to see 13 people watching right now. And that is about 10 more people that have actually smashed that thumbs up button. So while you're watching here, just go ahead, hit the thumbs up button for me real quick. Would really appreciate it. It's one way you can help support the program. You can help other IndyCar fans find our races, other iRacing fans find our races. Justin Miller to the back of Zoller. And I'm not sure that was really needed. I think Zoller had to back his breaking point up because he's probably a heavier car on cooler tires, and Justin Miller gets to the back of him. I'm not sure how much damage Justin Miller has. Justin Miller's 13 laps into his current stint. Is he going to take a pit here? Matt Cosgrove.
Cars everywhere.
Zoller not happy, I'm sure. And both of Zoller and Cosgrove, Miller and Cosgrove are going to hit pit road along with Franchica. So Zoller, he ends up getting contact on him. No idea of what damage is done. But here comes Craig Forsyth to the inside. Going to get the position. Dan Miglin's involved here. Dan Miglin back in 25th, a lap down. But Zoller, he's going to pick up a couple positions. He might get that top 10 back, but there's no telling how damaged he might be. Forsyth is probably going to keep this position. Coogan, Spath, Dakota, Bruno, Will Weiser, Hunter Ingrave, they all have to stop again. So you're going to have to pick up, Zoller will probably pick up some of those positions. Back up front, Johnston just on the pit road right now. This is his final stop. It's going to be a short fill. Going to probably go to the red tires. So here's some lap times you want to watch, folks, right here. Light tanks, red tires, and someone who had the race from the back to the front. We're going to probably see the purple lap set here. So Red Bull moments, folks. Get ready. Here they come. Nick Johnston is going to be doing some flyers here momentarily. He has 5 push to passes left, and he's probably going to use them probably here on the out lap and probably on the next lap for sure. We'll see. I'm not quite sure who has the purple lap at the moment. It might be Schaeffer. Schaeffer has a 1:47.4, I think, is the fastest lap at the moment. Yeah, that's definitely the fastest lap. A 1:47.4 is by Nate Schaeffer. Not sure what lap he set that at. But Nick Johnson, we're going to watch this. He's warming them up, though. It's like he's stretching here right before the big one. Coming down the straight. Johnson is 17 seconds behind, or 10 seconds behind Schaeffer. Schaeffer 17 seconds behind Sanders. Sanders 10 behind Bincy. Bincy pitting. Shall we ride along here on this ride? I'll make this our ride-along lap right here for
Yep, and I can give you a bit of an update from race control. So as it stands for the top 5, Bensie's on 3 incident points, Gavin Sanders 11, Johnston 13, Engrave 11, and Nate Schaeffer 13.
One more each for these guys. Here we go. We're going to race on board, right on board here with Nick Johnston. With there is a slower car in front of him, but I don't think it's going to be an issue. We'll see. Uphill. Oh, that's Gavin Sanders coming out of the pits. So this is a battle for position.
Yep, and this is going to be his moment to pounce with
And
Sanders on cold tires in a lap car.
Oh, yep. Oh, on the outside. Oh, almost gets into the... I don't think we're going to see a Red Bull lap here. Not with him racing somebody to the inside of Gavin. Tries to send it. No. Gavin locks it up a little bit, trying to beg these tires to come up to speed down the long stretch. Do you see on push to pass on his green? There we got the sticks going. His Pi readout, his Pi data graph there in the center of his wheel. It has a green border. That means he's on push to pass. So we're not going to see the purple lap here, I'm sure. But we're gonna cut the regular cameras here, and we're probably going to see one heck of a battle. That's going to maybe bring Johnston to the bottom step of the podium, all the way from the rear of the field. And I'm sure that'll make his girlfriend Daniela very happy for him to get on the podium. My understanding, he gets punished somehow if he doesn't make the podium. That's a tough life right there.
Yeah, that's incentive to get a vote.
Right. Hitting that inside curb really hard. Gavin Sanders, 8 to go. Bensie's still a leader by 7 seconds, but man, we are watching a heck of a battle for third place right now through the S's. And really, Nick Johnston is on the fine edge right now because one more incident point, and he has to do a drive-through.
Yeah, if he's gonna go for a move, it's gonna have to be a clean one and a decisive one.
I mean, Gavin right now can actually afford to say, well, if he hits me, I'll get a 1X, but I'll put him on pit road. So Gavin can actually afford a little contact here. Keep in mind, these cars don't like contact.
Yeah, they are not tanks.
And that's what makes makes these cars and other open wheelers a challenge to drive that a lot of racers on iRacing don't really appreciate. They just want to get into a car that has fenders and they can go rub on somebody. Somebody once said rubbin's racing. I disagree because I can go outside right now, get in my car, go to the first stoplight, and rub the car in front of me, and that's not called racing. That's called a fender bender.
That's called property damage.
And property damage, and I'm at fault. I believe it takes more skill to race these open wheelers inches apart and not touch.
Yeah,
So,
especially.
so those of you who like fenders, put that in your pipe and smoke it. As we are 7 to go, but watching a heck of a battle here for third place.
And they are closing in on lap traffic, and that is definitely going to make things interesting.
Oh, that is Zach Flaum. So Zach Flaum, he is in the same voice channel as Gavin over on Race First. So I would imagine Zach is going to make that pass probably nice and possible very easily.
And I'm just saying, if you want to force the guy into a 1X,
No, I don't see any dirty racing. I don't see any malicious team orders going on here.
It's like, I hope not.
Or get in the way and drag your brake a little bit, you know. Now, I've seen situations where, you know, I'd pull over for my teammate, but I'm not necessarily going to pull over just as easy for the guy behind, you know, that type of thing. Maybe
100%.
Yeah, that might be what we see. So, on to the main straight. Gavin pushed the pass. Is going to get a good run and a tow from his teammate up the hill. I imagine his teammate's going to lift and allow him on by.
Oh no. I think we just saw it. Nicholas Johnston, black flag.
Oh, did he have contact with...
No, I think it was 4 wheels off.
4 wheels off. So, Nick Johnston, after that entire run to the front, now possibly is staring at a black flag that needs to be answered here in the next 5 laps, I believe. And it's going to be a drive-through penalty. And that's going to be, well, I hate to say this, but already 2 races in, that has championship implications written all over it already. We'll keep an eye on this battle. We'll see how it develops. If Johnston comes in, I don't see Johnston pushing the issue with Gavin, so he's might have relegated himself that I'm going to have to pull it through. Oh, locks it up.
Yeah, because
scrubbing room. Yeah,
scrubbing back through the footage, it looks like he went 4 wheels off at 19 on the last lap.
But we'll see if he makes that turn down pit road for the drive-through. Very quickly approaching that pit-in entrance. And, of course, Gavin now battling his boss man. And, yes, this is the drive-through penalty. This is going to have lasting implications to the championship going forward, I'm sure. Hunter Ingrave might get the position here. He is on going into 20th, lap 20, or excuse me, turn 20. And he is full blast down the front straight. And he is going to pop out right in front of, or I know, right behind Nick Johnston. So Nick Johnston doesn't lose any positions. So maybe I'll take that back. Maybe it doesn't have lasting championship implications. He doesn't lose a position, just loses time, but it puts him back into the grasp of Hunter.
Yeah,
Hunter,
he doesn't. He might not lose any positions, but he misses out on the opportunity for a podium unless one of the drivers ahead of him goes off.
We'll get a real quick word in here side by side with Schaeffer Oil, and then we'll bring you home to the finish. We'll be right back.
There's a company that's cutting our fuel use by up to 5%. But it isn't a solar, wind, or hydro energy startup. It's an oil company, Schaeffer. Their oils are consistently proven to boost efficiency and reduce fuel consumption by up to 5%. When Schaeffer started making lubricants in 1839, they didn't set out to be green. But efficiency has always been part of everything they do. Reduce, rethink, rely on Schaeffer.
And we're back, 4 to go. Caleb Bency looking at a kind of cruising right now as he has himself about a 13-second lead over Gavin Sanders, as Sanders got around Schaeffer. So I wonder if Schaeffer had to do a drive-through, or Schaeffer is struggling on black tires, or if he had an off. I don't know.
So this is for position. Sanders and Schaeffer are battling for second.
Okay, so he
Message from race control, though. Both of them are on 13.
Oh, both Sanders and Schaeffer are on 13?
Yes.
Okay, so Schaeffer probably maybe taking it easy not to get the 14th is what probably led to Gavin running them down. But right now it's a race first 1-2. Team Watson Racing P3 and 4. Hunter Ingrave P5. Will Weiser P6 there in that AlphaTauri. We have not shown him a lot. Bruno Miranda, we've shown him a couple times. The Storm. It is Tornado Country, and he has brought himself up to 7th after a very early race incident that cost him some track position. Craig Forsyth looking at another top 10. He is up 12 spots, up to P8. Andrew Zaller right behind him. He has worked his way back up into the top 10. He is currently 9th. And Logan Spath with a great run, now being challenged by Dakota the Maid. Logan Spath, P10, Dakota the Maid, P12, or P11. Back a little bit further, James Watson, P12, Shane Coogan, P13, Matt Cosgrove, 14th, and Justin Miller in P15. Watching this battle right now for the last spot in the top 10 between Logan and Dakota the Maid, and now their teammates involved in this as well. We got Hayden Herman, who's in 22nd, is involved right ahead of them. Christopher Reese getting out of the way. And so now the race first teammates will decide it amongst themselves.
Judge should point out that hopefully no one gets to 14. But if you do on the last lap, obviously you can't serve it, and it gets converted into a time penalty.
Time penalty, yes.
Which is always far harsher than actually taking the drive through.
Yes.
It is 45 seconds.
That is exactly what happened at when we went to Red Bull Ring a couple seasons ago. That caught Nate Schaeffer on the last lap with an incident. That's exactly what cost him, is it got him the time penalty. So this battle between Spath and DeMaid has kind of separated a little bit. Now we're watching a battle between Zaller and Forsyth for 8th. 3 laps to go. Caleb is your leader by 13 now, 14 seconds. I know the Bincy family's like, show Caleb. There's no one around him. He's right there. He's all by himself. Coming to 2 to go. Right in front of him is, I'm not sure who's in front of him. Is that Matt Cosgrove? That's Matt Cosgrove. Okay, so he is lapped up to P15. 14 is the last car on the lead lap. Cosgrove in that Gallagher livery that Penske ran. One of the number of liveries that Penske's run over the last couple seasons. On board with Caleb Bincy. Coming down to 11 for the next to last time. Well, you got to say that the racing gods have evened things out. This was the best car driver combo at Homestead, but he pitted early for strategy, I think. And while he was on track trying to get that position back and stints were overlapping, a caution occurred that relegated him back past the top 10. He worked his way back up into the top 5. That's where he finished that race. Got good points out of it, but he was by far, Ryan. Where we at?
Nate had a massive lock up in the 12. Almost went off.
So, Ryan, Caleb was probably the best car at Homestead, and he just, unfortunately, bad things happened and just was unlucky. But today, now coming to the white flag, Caleb Bincy, smooth sailing for the Buckeye.
Yeah, you might get caught out by luck some days, but if you're a good driver, someday is not every day, and eventually you'll come through and get a win.
Now, we don't want to totally count it yet. We've seen a couple instances, mainly in the FIS, of drivers coming to the checkered flag, or getting the white flag, as Cosgrove is not pulling over here at all for Caleb. Now he is. Well,
he pulls over onto the
there he goes. We've seen a couple situations, mainly in the FIS, where the driver leading at the white flag is not the driver that takes the checkered flag. So we don't want to jinx Caleb quite yet, but Caleb is halfway through his lap here. White flag in the air, looking at his first win, and I believe it's 14th win overall in the RIL. Yeah, it would be, currently he's 13 wins, career leader in the RIL. He's going to make it one more. We were saying that Gavin was cutting into him, but Gavin's going to have to work harder, because it's win number 14 on the menu being served up for Caleb Vincey in a dominating fashion here at COTA, winning here in the RIL, the Schaeffer IndyCar Series, once again. Gavin Sanders now, we're going to watch him as he's got a pack of cars in front of him that he wants to avoid in a battle. That's a battle for position right there. Zeller and Justin Miller, I believe. But there, Gavin Sanders getting P2. Nate Schaeffer getting P3. There is your podium. Johnston gets the drive-through penalty, but doesn't lose anything on the track. So no negative impact on the championship defense for him, but it certainly made a long day longer with the EOL. He finishes fourth. Hunter Ingrave right there coming into view with a great top five. Will Weiser in the AlphaTauri finishes sixth. Bruno Miranda the Storm, he is working his way to get this last lap completed. No one's around him. That was Justin Miller and Christian Jasper we saw battling there at the end. That wasn't Zeller, because here comes Miranda. Miranda getting a top 10. Another good finish. A good points-paying finish. Here comes Andrew Zeller in his first race with Forsyth right behind him. Zeller gets 8th. Forsyth, another top 10. No drops this time for the Canadian. He gets 9th. Logan Spath crosses the line, getting 10th. Dakota DeMaid, 11th. And I believe everyone is now finished. So let's take a look at the final standings for today here from COTA. Caleb Vincey with his 14th career win here in the RIL. And a much-needed win based upon, really, he was the best car last week. He was the best car today. Gavin Sanders, yet another podium here in the RIL, his 22nd top 5 career finish. Nate Schaeffer finishes 3rd. That is his 16th career top 5 here in the RIL. Nicholas Johnson drives from the back almost to the front and gets the penalty and survives to finish 4th. The defending and reigning champion there, P4. Hunter Ingrave, great race, P5. Will Weiser, great race, P6. Bruno Miranda, unfortunately, it's just another race of what if for Bruno if he didn't get into contact there very early. Moving him back some precious track position. He manages to recover to 7th. Zeller, 8th. Forsyth, 9th. Spatz, 10th. Your top 15, DeMaid, Watson, Coogan, Cosgrove, and Miller. Those guys were fighting all race long. They're going to be tired of seeing each other. Other than that, they've just become best buds. I don't know. Moving on, 16th through 20th, Jasper Flaum, Matt Houston, the boss man, 18th. Carswell, 19th. Aldrich, 20th. Your top 25 is Hayden Herman, Neil Lusher, Dale Weiser, Dan Miglin, and Peter Donchek. Your top 30 here is going to be Donchek, Reese, Franchica, Johnston, Tommy Cook, and Connor Baldwin. Unfortunately, the home game for the Texan did not turn into a great day, as he fortunately is going to finish low on this after actually looking pretty good for much of the first stint there. And Drew White, Isidro, and Wang run out the remainder of the 33-car field. Morrissey, Mott, Gallas, and DeCiro did not qualify. All right, let's take a peek now who's possibly lined up for an interview. And we have everybody there. So Nate Seifert, we'll bring him up first.
It just kept
hey,
climbing.
Nate, we got you here. Sorry, didn't mean to pull you up middle of mid-sentence with the guys. At least you weren't cussing at something. That's the least I got to say about that.
You got me about 2 words just in time.
Well, let me ask you, was that cuss word around the incident limit at all?
Well, no, we were talking about the start, but that I'd love to have words about that. That was awful. That was the cleanest I ever had to be. Literally, from lap 24, I think, or so, I was on 1X in a drive-through, so I was literally just on pins and needles that entire time. I couldn't really push the car. But yeah, the incident limit was, I think we're a little too strict around here.
Well, talk about the start, though. You had a couple choice words for the start. Tell us about the start.
No, I was just talking about, the actual launch itself wasn't too bad, but lap 1 I just didn't have. Caleb must have got a little bit better tire temp in there. It just wasn't very groupy on my end. The balance wasn't there on lap 1 very well, so I struggled to get the tires fired up properly, and that's why Caleb got around me down there on T12, 13, 14. I'd love to have fought a little bit harder, but that's just where the tires were. And then through the race, it was just trying to survive. I didn't have the pace that Caleb had on the blacks, nor Gavin. I tried fighting Gavin, and we went off. I don't know if you guys caught that or not, but I got some phantom damage or something. The car bounce was not where it was, or the downforce level wasn't where it was.
That was on the first stint? The first stint?
Yeah.
Okay. We were wondering about that because we thought maybe you did, but your pit stop really didn't show you getting any damage fixed or anything. So
yeah, I think it was all floor.
Okay.
Which they wouldn't have fixed that.
Yeah, that's not possible. No.
So that's where that came in. And then my only strategy to even have a chance to lead a lap tonight was the black strategy, so that's what we went with. We gave her a couple shots at Caleb, didn't quite get it working out. If you can't win races on doing the same strategy leaders, you got to switch it up. So we tried that. Third is probably the best it was going to be after that first stint, so we'll take it and move on.
That second stint you put on I believe you did put on the alternate tires, and you kind of ran Caleb down, but could never quite get around him, and then kind of the effectiveness of those reds kind of wore off. Was that just kind of at that point preserve second place as best as possible and try not to do any drive-through penalties?
Yeah, by that point, it was all about protecting drive-throughs. I guess Gavin had a slip up on his out lap at that third stint, so we were just trying to. At that point, I was like, I wonder if I can keep third, and then the tires were black by stint, just with the damage, the lack of downforce, it just did not grip at all. So, a difficult night overall. Minimized loss to Gavin. I think we're still second on the points. We'll get some hopefully decent tracks coming up here that we can, maybe get 1 or 2 spots better than Gavin, stay on the podium. 100% conversion rate so far, so we'll take that.
Well, I believe it's, as I was saying, it was your 16th top 5, I believe, in the series history. So consistency pays. Of course, a second straight podium. Congratulations on that. I'm sure you got some people you want to shout out to, so go right ahead. Are you there? Is anybody there?
You're still here on my end.
So we must have lost him there. Did he drop out?
Still in the channel.
He's still there. We'll give him a second to recover. I don't know if he shook the the old cat unplugging the headset bit.
So I'll just, since we have a second, I'll point out from race control, total incident points for this race, 407.
407, and we divide that by 33, and that will tell you each driver had 12. So there were multiple drivers out there that had more than 14 if you had to have an average of 12 per driver. Well, it looks like Nate, well, I'm sure he's going to say thanks to the Team Watson guys, thanks for his teammates, thanks to the Midwest Kidney Warriors. We want to thank, of course, Midwest Kidney Warriors. They've been longtime supporters of the FIS, but thank for them what they do. Hopefully I didn't miss anything, fans and friends and family for his, but he will be back on the podium, I'm sure, and I'm sure he'll have numerous times where he'll be able to give some shout outs, but unfortunately looks like we lost him for today. So let's go ahead and bring up Gavin. Hey Gavin, how you doing? At what point did you stop racing for position and racing for survival of just not getting any more incident points?
After my last pit stop, when I made a really dumb mistake and just put so much wheel in and then spun, and then I was like, oh crap, and I realized I had somehow gotten away with just a 2x, and from there on out it was 13x all the way at the end.
Well, I mean, you're not the only driver to finish on 13x. A number of you did. We heard that the total number of incidents in the race was 407, and if you average that out by the 33 car field, everyone had 12 incidents. If you average it out, so you were right there. You were right there at the average. So not so bad. But another good race for you. A win followed by a second here on the road course. Tell us about your race, and what was the strategy identical to Caleb's, or does Caleb just have that much more pace than you today?
I think I tried to go a little bit further on the fuel save. He did really well in the first stint. He just had so much more and clear track, and he did really well maximizing the tires, and I was kind of on the back foot already, and in that I used a bit too much fuel, and then kind of got myself in this a little bit of kind of 0.1, 0.2 of a liter jeopardy between getting down pit lane and not. So once I got myself out of that, I was substantially out of it. And then with Nate's strategy and the way we had gone at it, it definitely made it a little bit more interesting. And then Caleb was able to just put on the jets and take off. So good job to him. He kicked butt, and it's a good thing when we can finish 1-2 in our pseudo team and do really well these races when the track is. I've
been told I've said teams too many times today by a certain admin that goes by another name in chat. But carry on. I'm sure. Go ahead.
Yes. I will not say that word anymore.
Partnership.
But our great friendship led us to this point, and if there's one thing we do know, it's not about the race, it's about the friends you made along the way.
There you go. It's about the journey. Right.
Yeah. So that was kind of that, and I'm happy to just not have to do a drive-through.
Well, back to the oval next week. Going to Twin Ring Motegi, easy for me to say. You don't do a bad job there. Thought about going to Twin Ring, where one side of the racetrack is wide open, the other side of the racetrack you actually have you need to use some racecraft in order to get through it.
Yeah, I'm really excited for it. It's kind of one of those ovals that takes a little bit more finesse, and if there's one thing I like in this car, it's an oval with a point where you need to kind of get up on the wheel and get after it and use the tools and everything. So I'm looking forward to it, and it might be a good chance to keep the solid start to the season going.
shout outs. Anybody want to say thank to any partnerships or anything that you want to be thankful for?
Great friends I have. Let me just say thanks to my friends at Raceverse for everything they do, for all my friends that I race with in the race, and for the great broadcast that they put on, broadcasted by my friends. But seriously, big shout out to them. Big shout out to Sunset Arctic Graphics for the sweet paint.
Yeah.
Buy EchoBlade on Steam. Buy EchoBlade on Steam. Buy EchoBlade on Steam. Otherwise, I think that's everybody. And yeah, we're looking forward to Twin Ring.
Ryan, I have this urge to buy EchoBlade on Steam for some reason.
I don't know why. People always say that after I talk to them.
Well, congratulations on the second straight podium. Great start to the season. A win followed by a second. Moving on to the oval at Japan in here next. And we'll see you next week.
Sounds good. Take care, guys.
See ya. And let's bring up Caleb. Hey, Caleb, welcome to the booth. Last week, you were the best car. Unfortunately, we didn't get a chance to talk to you. This week, there was no doubt about it. Other than a little bit of a fight that you had with Nate when he was on the Reds during their prime peak, you were able to hold on and kind of not make a joke of it, but just really everybody was in your rearview mirror by quite a long ways. How great does it feel to have this defining win, especially after last week when you thought you had it and it was kind of ripped from you?
It feels great. At the same time, it's kind of a bummer because you feel like, man, I should have, two.
You should,
but,
yeah.
But shoulda, coulda, woulda. So it didn't happen, but yeah, thankfully it happened here. I was kind of super, not unconfident or inconfident, but just wasn't really sure how the race was going to play out. It was just, obviously a lot of off-track issues and just tricky track in general. So qualifying went pretty well, had a little bit more in it. So after that, I was just kind of try to get the lead and did get that and then hold on. And it was a big tire-saving race from start to finish for sure. And I think, I don't know if I had the best outright pace, but I think I was able to save tires while maintaining a pretty good pace. And that was, my opinion, I think what made the difference there. So pretty cool.
I think you got the purple lap. I'm looking right now. I don't see
really?
anybody. You got the win. I don't think it was possible to lead all the laps. I'm not sure if you led all the laps. Did you lead all the laps, Ryan?
I don't know.
No, there was a point early on in the race where you didn't lead a lap.
Okay, so you got at least the double. You got the win and you got the purple lap. Looks like you got a 1:46.8 here before the time ran out here. So before that, I think the next fastest lap was a 1:47 flat. So so yeah, I mean, for someone that said kind of didn't feel right and weren't sure about the pace, I mean, numbers say otherwise, but still, congratulations. So now definitely involved here now in the points championship, and it's still early. We're still in the first third of the season, first quarter of season actually. Going to Twin Ring Motegi next, which is a track that you do reasonably well at. What are your expectations for there? I'm assuming it's going to be kind of the same old type of Motegi race where it's wide open on 1 and 2, and then everyone's fighting arrow push like mad through 3 and 4.
Yeah, it's even kind of tough through 1 and 2 with some of the depending on where you are position wise. But yeah, I mean I've had a couple championships even in this league where the first 4 or 5 races went quite horribly. So being in a decent spot here to then build on that, I feel like is kind of an improvement over some previous years. So hopefully you can just keep that momentum going, and doesn't need to be wins every race, but just solid finishes, rack them up, and inevitably people have issues, inevitably I'll have issues and everything. But yeah, Motegi is definitely one of those tough tracks though, because it's quite tricky with the arrow push and lack of banking, different ends, all that stuff. But yeah, just again trying to nail qualifying, put yourself in a good spot, avoid probably inevitable carnage, and that's all you really can do. So, but yeah, looking forward to that.
Shout out we had your family watching, so I know that they're out there. Anyone else you want to thank and say hi to?
So Nate said he disconnected, so he wanted me to shout out Midwest Kidney Warriors for him.
Oh, so, for sure.
And yeah, obviously you guys, thanks as always for putting on great broadcasts. I know, like you said, family's watching. I got a couple texts, and so appreciate you guys as always for that. And Vaughn and Fanny, we actually for Christmas and just in general, they redid the website. So great Christmas idea for custom body care for guys or girls, whoever. And if you use the code 20Team Race First, you get 20% off. So if you haven't checked that out yet, please do. Just look around the website, see if you like anything. And but yeah, and obviously family and friends watching as always. Again, a little bummed couldn't get the win last week, but yeah, pretty awesome to bring one home here. And thanks you all again for watching.
All right, well, congratulations. I'm sure we'll talk later, but we will see you next week.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, guys.
All right, Eric, Ryan. I mean, we got the first road course out of the way, and it was without, not without drama. We saw lots of drama. But some of it's going to have implications, but some of it's not.
So speaking of that drama we saw during the race, did get a message in our general chat from Nicholas Johnston about what had happened.
Okay.
When he went 4 wheels off, he thought he was 2 points away from a penalty, not 1.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah. So he let his car go 4 wheels off, thinking that he was going to be fine.
So I guess that's where I guess he is one of the most heady drivers I know. And just to tell you the type of situation he's dealing with, I mean, he's doing everything else driving, trying to, come up from the back of the field. Can anyone fault him for, miscalculating? No, it just happens. So much is going on that sometimes that stuff is impossible to always track. So that's unfortunate, but hopefully next time we return here, if we return here, I don't know what the drivers are going to say. If we return here, hopefully the league gives a little bit more leeway into incident points, or just say, no incidents altogether, just like IndyCar did, and say just drive them high and wide anytime you want.
Yeah, just do what IndyCar did. Just throw away the track limits. Just go at it.
Toss the key out. Who cares? Next week, Motegi. We jumped that virtual jet across the Pacific there and go to the land of the rising sun. We'll check out our second oval race of the season. Your thoughts about going on to Motegi next?
Very fun oval. All I'm going to say is turn 4 comes at you real fast. That outside wall is a lot closer than you think it is.
It does. And if you're not set up right for turn 4, and you know what I'm talking about, too much wayjacker, you're swapping ends under acceleration coming off of turn 4, and you're probably going to cause a big wreck as you slide to the middle of the racetrack and collect cars one after another as they come off of 4, seeing this big puff of smoke. So, other than that, I appreciate you joining once again this week. Good holiday season. Hope the weather is good where you are, and we'll see you here in a week or so when we get to Motegi.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Also, don't know what everyone's complaining about Coda. That was fun watch. I mean, I wouldn't want to be driving. It was fun to watch.
It was fun to watch. That's right. We have the easy job here, just watching this, and then it's, oh yeah, a piece of cake. Do I want to drive that? No way in hell. No. This would be a skip race for me for sure. But then again, I'm not very brave when it comes to these things anyways, but it's always easier to call a race than to drive them. But I do not envy these guys, and if they are mentally tired after this race, I do not blame them at all. I hope all of them get some good rest, get some good sleep tonight. So that's it for tonight. Once again, your podium from Coda is Caleb Benzie with his first win of the year, his 14th overall in the RIL. Gavin Sanders second, who is probably going to be our points leader still going into next week, and Nate Schaeffer finishes third, and he's going to be heavily involved in the points championship coming up as this season unfolds. Join Race First again next week for round 3 of the winter 22-23 season of the Schaeffer IndyCar Series. The series jumps across the Pacific to the oval at Twin Ring Motegi. That's next Wednesday at the start time of roughly around 7:45 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on YouTube at youtube.com/racefirst. Now, as you know, the YouTube algorithm game, it's not an easy one. So please help support Race First and with the weekly grind, and leave a comment below and let us know what you thought of tonight's race. And if you enjoyed tonight's coverage, The best way to help us is you find that thumbs up button, and I know a number of you haven't already, and you got to hit it right now. Hit that thumbs up. We really would appreciate it. That's the best way to support us if you're not already a subscriber, because if you're new, we want you to subscribe. And while you're at it, hit the bell for weekly reminders so you'll miss out more of Race First other iRacing program, including Season 1 of 2023 coverage of the official iRacing Fixed IndyCar Series Top Split on Mondays, and coverage of the official iRacing Open IndyCar Series on Saturdays. And of course, they got a different name now, and I'm US Open Wheel Series, whatever. It's just Indy Open, Indy Fixed. And it's going to be right here on Race First, so don't miss it. Keep your browsers set here for the most in-depth IndyCar knowledge on all of iRacing. Race First, we know what Indy means. Revolution Indy League IndyCar Series naming rights paid for by Schaeffer Oil. Racing is in their blood. It's what they love. At Schaeffer, their racing products help racing teams spend less resources on replacing parts and changing fluids and more time out on the track. Check out SchaefferOil.com, where you can search for the nearest retailer in your area today, or click on the link in the broadcast description below. For business inquiries to learn more about Race First and what we do, visit racefirst.com or like us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter. You can follow all of us on Twitter via our handles right here that will fly in at the bottom of the screen. Right there. There's me, there's Race First, there's Ryan. Go ahead, add us all. We would love to talk with you about racing. Mainly racing. Yeah, just racing. Yeah, and IndyCar racing. Religion and politics, no, forget it. But IndyCar racing, yeah. Making fun of NASCAR, yeah, we could do that too. So for Ryan, Eric King, everyone at Race First, I'm Gary Gotzo saying all thanks for watching. Happy holidays, and to all our men and women serving in the military and as first responders, Godspeed. God bless and come home safe. Thanks again. Catch us next week for round 3 at Twin Ring Motegi for the next race of the Revolution Indy League's Schaeffer IndyCar Series. Good night.